maximum sentence, which is 20 years. I hereby sentence Mr. Nichols to 20 years to serve consecutive to counts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 32. Count 35 is another armed robbery count, and you know by now the armed robbery carries a life imprisonment, and I'm going to give him the maximum of a life imprisonment. That is consecutive to counts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 32, and 33. None of this will be served on probation.
Welcome to Real-Time Viral Crime. Today, we're diving into a shocking story of courage, chaos, and survival. The story of Braian Nichols, who turned Atlanta's Fulton County Courthouse into the scene of a tragedy back on March 11, 2005. It was supposed to be a routine trial, just another day in the Fulton County Courthouse. But for the people who were there that day, it turned into a nightmare they'll never forget.
Confessions of Fulton County Courthouse killer Braian Nichols. More than a decade after the shooting rampage, he is talking to us about whether there was almost a fifth victim and whether he's truly sorry. Nichols killed 4 people in his escape from the Fulton County Courthouse, and it set up a huge manhunt that paralyzed Metro Atlanta for days.
Braian Nichols was on trial for a serious crime. But instead of facing justice, he decided to take matters into his own hands in a terrifying way.
She was telling me how Braian Nichols broke free, came from one side of the courthouse across this footbridge to the other side on the 8th floor, and Judge Barnes' chambers were right down there. What happened after he entered that door gripped the nation. Those murders did, and now we have the chance to dig into the mind of an active shooter in an age where such attacks have become epidemic.
In the courthouse holding area, Nichols managed to overpower a deputy, taking her gun and severely beating her. Armed and on a mission, he set his sights on Judge Roland Barnes, who was presiding over his trial. Walking through the courthouse with a weapon in hand, Nichols appeared calm and confident. According to witnesses, he didn't look out of place at all. Nichols encountered several people along the way, including case managers and attorney David Allman. But it wasn't until he found Judge Barnes and court reporter Julie and Brandau that the full extent of his intentions became clear. Tragically, he shot and killed them both. The courthouse was now in shock. People were hiding, running, and the building was on lockdown. But Nichols wasn't finished. He made his escape, even taking the life of Sergeant Hoyt Teasley as he fled. Nichols went on a dangerous spree through the city, carjacking multiple vehicles and leaving a trail of fear and heartbreak. With Nichols on the run, Atlanta was turned upside down. A massive 26-hour manhunt unfolded as law enforcement from every corner joined the search to capture him. That same night, Nichols continued his rampage by taking the life of IC agent David Wilhelm in the Buckhead neighborhood, further shocking the community and raising the stakes for police. Then came an unexpected twist. Nichols found his way to the apartment of a woman named Ashley Smith. She was a single mother struggling with her own challenges, and suddenly, she was face to face with a man who had terrorized Atlanta. Ashley Smith was taken hostage, but instead of giving in to fear, she stayed calm. In that tense atmosphere, she began talking to Nichols, even reading passages from a book. For Smith, this was more than just a survival instinct. It was a moment of transformation. I thought this was the man my aunt prayed for. She prayed for God to change me, and in that moment, I felt like I could change. Amazingly, after hours of talking with Smith, Nichols had a change of heart. She had connected with him in a way that no one else had, and it led him to a decision no one expected. In the end, Nichols surrendered peacefully, bringing an end to the tragic events he had set in motion. He was later found guilty on 54 counts, including multiple counts of murder and kidnapping. This story is a chilling reminder of how lives can change in a split second. For Atlanta, it's a tragedy that will never be forgotten. For Ashley Smith, it was a turning point that changed her life forever.
I see myself on that day, that delusional person was unfortunately, a monster by any victim.
We wanted to know if there was almost a fifth murder victim, the prosecutor in the rape case for which he was on trial. She told me she missed Nichols in court by maybe a minute.
Very bad thing. That day does define me because lives were lost. And so I totally understand that.
Are you sorry for what you did?
I don't even think sorry expresses or the right word for the way that I feel. I don't know what I could actually say to express my apology. Words sometimes are not enough. It's kind of difficult to even imagine the type of loss that has occurred because of the things that I did.
Murdered in March 2005, Judge Roland Barnes, court reporter Julie Brandow, Deputy Hoyt Teasley, Federal Agent David Wilhelm. If skeptics say, is he sorry for his victims or is he sorry for himself?
I sit around and I wonder, how did I end up in this place? I fell out of love with myself, with life. I'm absolutely mortified that, I took life. I mourn for them, and I mourn for myself, I mourn for my family.
You do not deny you committed the crimes of which you are convicted.
I never denied.
Courthouse killer Braian Nichols. Do you believe you're going to heaven or hell?
I don't know. I see myself on that day. That delusional person was unfortunately a monster by any victim.
We wanted to know if there was almost a fifth murder victim, the prosecutor in the rape case for which he was on trial. She told me she missed Nichols in court by maybe a minute. Had she been in the courtroom, would you have shot prosecutor Gail Abramson?
I'm just glad that I'm not answering the question about why I hurt someone else.
Is it fair to say it's possible?
I suppose it would be possible, yes.
To stay inside prison rules, a friend of Nichols, who says she's the only non-family member, on his small approved call list, relayed our questions.
I can't do anything to change the past, so the only thing I can do is try to be a better person.
He echoed that sentiment repeatedly, but the rage, the why,
Sometimes hurt people
became difficult to dig into with his claims of delusion. Still, do you believe smoking weed chronically contributed to your mental state, to your downfall?
I definitely think that it played a factor in my development, in my brain chemistry. Yeah, nobody smoked more weed than I did. Marijuana ruined my life.
When you see your family, do you think of the families that don't have their loved ones anymore?
Yeah, I absolutely do. It's a tragedy all the way around.
Now, we edited out questions from our intermediary. So how do you keep secure a man who has already demonstrated the ability to escape from a secure facility and killed people in the process? Well, that's tomorrow on Channel 2 Action News at 6 when we take you inside the Hymax unit and we talk to Nichols.
Nichols has no money to pay for his own defense. Preparing for trial has already cost the public defender's office some $1.8 million. The state of Georgia cut off funding to the defense team on July 1st. Nichols' lawyers, who plan to argue he was delusional at the time of the killings, say they can't properly represent their client without more money, in part to hire expert witnesses.
I know that if this case goes forward without any additional funding, there's no chance of a verdict, if he were to get one, standing up.
Nichols' lawyers are now calling on the judge to level a contempt charge against the state agency responsible for funding the defense team. They asked the judge to halt jury selection, and he agreed. At a hearing next week, the judge will demand an explanation from state officials as to why they stopped paying the bills.
The maximum sentence, which is 20 years. I hereby sentence Mr. Nichols to 20 years to serve, consecutive to counts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 32. Count 35 is another armed robbery count, and you know by now the armed robbery carries a life imprisonment, and I'm going to give him the maximum of a life imprisonment. That is consecutive to counts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 32, and 33. none of this will be served on probation. I'm not planning on giving Mr. Nichols any probation at all. Neither am I planning on giving him a fine. Even though you may not like Mr. Nichols, let's give a fair trial to everybody. Let's let them continue to be innocent until proven guilty. Let's give everybody a jury trial if they wanted it, and that's what Mr. Nichols wanted, and that's what he got. And let's treat them perhaps better than they treated everybody else. I don't want to make it personal, but at the same time, if I can save a life, do not trust Mr. Nichols. Ever again. Ever again. Don't trust him.
It's kind of difficult to even imagine the type of loss that has occurred because of the things that I did.